Out of the 19 zombie maps we see from World at War, Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 Zombies, which 5 are the worst of them all? Let's take a look. Hi guys, and welcome back to another top 5 zombie video, and today we're going to be ranking the top 5 worst zombie maps from World at War, Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 Zombies. Now guys, this is only my personal opinion. I'm not expecting or asking you guys to agree with my list, but guys, if you are enjoying this series, please remember to subscribe and leave a like rating too to show your support. It would mean a lot. But with that said, let's move on to the list. And coming in at the number 5 spot, I have gone for the map 5 from Black Ops 1. Now 5 is the map which you unlock when you complete the campaign from Black Ops 1, and I think the massive issue with this map is the layout. So 5 is essentially a vertical map, along with Dire Eyes. It's not very horizontal, it's more vertical, and I think for zombies it just doesn't work. I think, you know, the Achilles heel with 5 is purely just the layout. Also with 5 you have the Winter's Howl, which is arguably one of the worst wonder weapons of all time. I'd probably say only the jet gun is worse, so I think the Winter's Howl is definitely in the top 3 in terms of, you know, the worst wonder weapons. You do have the ray gun as well, I guess, but the Winter's Howl is just a really underwhelming, disappointing wonder weapon. The Pentagon Thief, he's not that bad. People like to hate on him because he takes your gun, but I think the fact that he can give you a bonfire sale if you kill him before he takes your weapon, and you know, you can upgrade a weapon for 1000 points, I think the Pentagon Thief isn't that bad of a boss. He also gives you a max ammo and a fire sale if you do manage to kill him, so I have no problems really with the Pentagon Thief. But also a big issue with 5 is it's not very enjoyable if you're playing with more than one person. There's only one decent training spot in the war room, and if you're playing with, you know, 2 players or 3 players, 4 players, then the remaining players have to keep going up and down in the elevators. So I think if you are playing 5, I would only recommend playing solo, in my opinion. And yeah, I just think 5 it can be enjoyable at times, but I just think it's got a lot of problems, and I do think it does deserve to be on this list. So I'm going to put it in at the number 5 spot. Crashing in at the number 4 spot, I have gone for Nuketown Zombies from Black Ops 2. Now, Nuketown is only supposed to be a little bonus map that we got given on the side, and I do appreciate that. But Nuketown has 2 massive issues, and the first one is it's just boring. It's just not a lot on Nuketown. The complexity of the map is very, very limited. There's not a lot to do. It's sort of on par with maybe say Verrückt or Shinonuma, or maybe Derry's, because it does have Pack-a-Punch. But in Black Ops 2, I don't think that is enough to, you know, keep the player engaged. You know, you spawn in, you get a few guns, you Pack-a-Punch it, you get, you know, the 4 perks, and then you've done everything. You know what I mean? So there's not an awful lot to do on Nuketown. But like I said, it is only a little bonus map, so you can't really expect Treyarch to put an awful lot of detail into it. But the bigger issue which I have with this map is the random perk spawning system, and it actually came in at number 1 on my top 5 most irritating zombie things. So I have previously mentioned why I dislike this feature, but I just think it's the most stupid thing that Treyarch have ever implemented into a zombies map. But you could argue that that is the only sort of replayable feature from Nuketown Zombies. You know, if the perks had fixed locations every single game, then that would just increase the boringness of Nuketown. So I think the random perk locations or spawnings does, you know, spice it up a little bit, but overall I just find it a little bit boring. It does have, of course, the M27, as you can see in this clip. It is exclusive to Nuketown, and it's arguably one of the best assault rifles that we see in zombies. But overall, Nuketown, I just don't think it's really that good, so I'm going to put it in at the number 4 spot. Now, sitting in at our number 3 spot, I have gone for Shangri-La from Black Ops 1. Now, Shangri-La is the 3rd DLC map from this game, and it is arguably the most close quarters map we have ever seen, along with Verrückt. And I think that is a massive problem for Shangri-La. I'm not a fan of how tight and how claustrophobic this map is. I know some players like it, but for me personally, I think that there's way too many spawn points, and they're all so close quarters. There's so many narrow, corridors and hallways, and I'm just not really a massive fan of it. Also, the sand traps and the spike traps are just an absolute nuisance. The sand trap in particular, I don't really like being forced where I can run. I like to be able to just go from one place to another, no messing about, none of this stupid, you can't go here, sorry mate. I don't like that personally. The spike traps aren't as bad, but no, the sand trap is just a big no from me. Also, the screamer zombie, really, you're going to put a zombie which runs faster than the character, runs in your face, screams, blurs your vision on the most close quarters map in history? Is that really a good idea, Treyarch? For me, no. The fire zombie isn't bad. I've not got a problem with him. You can use him to create a fire trap, and you can use him to your advantage. But the screamer zombie is just stupid. I think anyway. The baby gun is pretty cool though. You can do the Semtex strategy to get to a really high round, so I've no problems in that area. Also, the monkeys, Jekyll and Hyde for me. Yeah, they are annoying, I guess. Coming out of nowhere and taking your power-ups, and if you're too slow, they basically nick it, which is a pretty pain in the ass. But you can of course manipulate the drops to help you get a max ammo or double points or whatever you want to get, and they can give you a free perk as well if you kill them after they take your max ammo. But Shangri-La for me, it's my least played map from Black Ops 1. I never really got into it. It's not my type of map, so I'm going to put it in at the number 3 spot. Now, moving on to the number 2 spot, I have gone for Tranzit from Black Ops 2. Now, Tranzit is the launch map from this game, and Treyarch hyped it to be the best map of all time, and it turned out to be one of the worst. Now, Tranzit has so many problems, I'm not going to have enough time to go through all of them, but I'm going to try and get through as many as I can. So the first problem is, of course, the denizens, the small little creatures that live inside the fog, and they jump out and jump on your face and attack you if you stand in the fog for 0.5 seconds. I think they're one of the worst bosses in zombies history. Secondly, you have the fog. Listen, I'm well aware that the old gen consoles could not handle the size of the map, so they had to put in the fog to have the game run smoother. So I do get that, but it's still very, very annoying. Thirdly, you have the worst pack-a-punch system in zombies history. You got to mess around with the turbine by putting it down at the power station and then go into the town and hope that the turbine hasn't broken, because if it has broken, then the door won't open, which means you've got to go back to the depot and get a fresh turbine and repeat that entire process over and over again, which is very, very time consuming and very, very annoying. Also, you've got to build literally everything: the pack-a-punch machine, the power switch, the turbine like I just mentioned, the shield, the turret, everything which has any benefit to you, you've got to waste your valuable time building, which is very, very monotonous and tedious at times. You have the jet gun, the worst wood weapon of all time, without a doubt. It takes so long to build, it's so weak, it overheats very, very quickly and takes ages to cool down. It does basically no damage, and I'm pretty sure everyone will agree that it is the worst wonder weapon of all time. Fifthly, I think it's item number 5. We have the lava, which plagues the entire map pretty much. There is no area from Tranzit which doesn't contain any lava, and that of course damages the player. It makes zombies blow up. If they're on fire and you kill them, they will blow up unless you use galvanicles. And I think it's one of the most map ruining things from Black Ops 2. And then you've just got the bus as well. It's so unreliable. He always leaves you when you're building the power, and that means that you got to run through the fog to get to your destination, which means you've got to deal with denizens. And every time you don't want the bus, he's always just there, and every time you do want the bus, he isn't there. So I think the entire map of Tranzit is just riddled with problems. It can be fun if you're playing with some mates and just having a laugh, I guess, but if you're playing zombies seriously, I would stay well away from Tranzit. So I'm going to put it in at the number 2 spot. But despite all of that, I still believe there is one map which is even worse, and I'm going to give it to Moon from Black Ops 1. Now, on paper, Moon doesn't have as many problems as Tranzit, but I think the severity of the problems on Moon justify the #1 spot. So the first issue I have is the gravity. Now you are essentially punished for sprinting on this map because every now and then the character will get sort of flung up into the air and you are sent uncontrollably sometimes into a zombie horde or into an area which is quite dangerous, and you don't know when it's going to happen. It just happens at just any random time in the game and your character will get sort of flung up, and it's just an absolute nightmare to deal with sometimes. Secondly, the Juggernog and Speed Cola situation where you got to go to Area 51 twice to get Juggernog and Speed Cola, I think is just a ludicrous thing to be put into a zombies map. And you know, Moon is quite a difficult map. You know, without Juggernog you are going to struggle, and it takes a good solid sort of 5 minutes to repeat the process twice of going to Area 51. So I just do not think there's anyone on this planet who thinks that was an enjoyable thing to put in Moon. Also, thirdly, you have probably the second worst boss in zombies history on Moon, the astronaut or the cosmonaut, whatever you want to call him. He sort of bobbles around the map. He doesn't give you any perks or power-ups when you kill him, and he takes your perks as well if he grabs hold of you. I think he's a very boring and just mundane and bizarre boss to put into Moon. A very, very disappointing boss in my opinion. And also you then have the excavators, which sort of come in every now and then and start digging through tunnel 6 and 11 and sometimes into the biodome, and that is very, very annoying. They cut off in that entire section of the map and they seem to last forever, and I know they're relevant to the Easter egg, but I just think if you're playing casually, the excavators are incredibly frustrating to deal with. But saying all of that, Moon does have a couple of things which I need to praise it for. The first thing is the wonder weapon. The wave gun I think is a very, very unique and enjoyable weapon to use, and also the Easter egg. You know, I can't sit here and say and not mention about the Easter egg. Of course, the events from Moon impact the Black Ops 2 zombie storyline, so Moon I think has one of the best Easter eggs, but I still do think that this map is the worst of all time, so I'm going to put it in at the #1 spot. So guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and leave your thoughts down below in the comment section of what you thought about my list. Also guys, I have created an entire playlist full of different top 5 zombie lists, so if you are interested, please make sure that you check them out as well. So thank you again for watching, and we'll be back soon with another video. Goodbye.